Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Dychronic, your host here on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be showing you the weekly reset for January 7th, 2020. Ah, damn, it's 2020. It still rings my brain and rattles it around. But we're going to be showing you the weekly reset, everything that has reset, all the special stuff going on with the calendar, because this week is actually pretty special. A lot of stuff going on, as well as all of the regular stuff that has reset from the Nightfall, crucible, and all that whatnot. So first and foremost, this week is going to be an increased infamy week, so probably 2 times infamy during the week and 3 times during the weekend. Next up, there's a new sundial difficulty. You can do the heroic sundial, which apparently offers some pinnacle rewards. So if you're looking to get your power above 960, you have to do some pinnacle rewards. And now the legend sundial is out. Now, I seem to remember there being a master difficulty, so I don't know why Legend is offering the pinnacle gear. On top of that, there's a new exotic quest that has released today for the Devil's Ruin. It's apparently a new sidearm, which I've seen the perks on. If you hold down the fire button, it fires a giant fucking laser. So, if you want to get the new exotic, all you have to do is go to the sundial and start killing some champions, and these champions have a chance to drop the frame. That frame will then start you on that quest, and you can follow the steps in a guide that you eventually look up, because I will not figure out how to do it. And of course, if you wanted to do anything else for the Dawning, this is going to be the last week for the Dawning event, which ends on January 14th. So you literally have 1 more week to finish off your triumphs, to finish off the exotic Sparrow, get more cold fronts and avalanches, anything that you want to do with the Dawning event. You have to do it very soon because it's the last week to do it. And of course, if you were wondering about certain things with the Dawning event, I have a guide. I have a full guide Word document. It's one of my videos that I made a couple of weeks ago. It's a very excellent guide, color-coded, all the whatnots, pictures. It's a beautiful thing. So if you still need to do stuff, check out that guide. It lists everything that you're going to need to know. Without further ado, let's go ahead and move on with the regular weekly reset. Starting up with the Nightfall, we have the Ordeal, which is going to be inside Terminus. It's going to be the big Scion at the very end. He drops the long goodbye. For the regular Nightfalls, first of all, we have Inverted Spire. The big Minotaur at the end came with the base game, actually came with the beta, and he drops the Trichromatica exotic Ghost Shell. Next up for the Arms Dealer, another base game, the Chartreuse Sniper Cabal guy at the end, and he drops the exotic Sparrow known as the Tilt Fuse. And then finally we have the Scarlet Keep, which is going to be the one with the Wizard guy at the end. Hashladoon came out with Shadowkeep and does not have a Nightfall unique. The highest scoring is definitely going to be Scarlet Keep, and the fastest is definitely going to be Inverted Spire. The heroic modifier for this week will be Arc Singe, which means everything is Arc Singe this week. For some reason Arc Singe lines up everywhere. For the Crucible rotating playlist, first of all, we have Momentum Control, one of my favorite game modes of Destiny history. Basically, it's like SWAT from Halo 3. You're basically one shot from a lot of different weapons, and as you get kills, you get your abilities, and it's not just a regular recharge. On top of that, it's also control. So I highly recommend you check this out. If you haven't played it, it's a lot of fun. And the other one is going to be Lockdown, a game mode that not very many people like. It's kind of like an advanced version of Control, where if you get all 3 of the zones, you get like the Golden Snitch and win the round. Personally, I thought it was a good game mode, but not a lot of people play it. Moving on to the Reckoning playlist, again, Infamy is doubled and tripled this week, so if you want to get Infamy from Gambit, Reckoning, all that whatnot, make sure you do it this week. As far as the weekly goes, like I said, it is Arc Singe, the daily is Grenadier, and the boss this week will be the Sword. So if you want any of the weapons that are available from the Sword section of this graphic on screen now, it is available this week. Moving on to the Flashpoint, it's going to take place on the EDZ, so completing your public events, lost sectors, and heroic adventures to complete this as fast as possible. And of course, while you're there, make sure you go throw some grenades at the obelisk in the EDZ for not accepting your finish for 3 weeks in a row. I'm not salty, I just thought I'd ask everybody else to be salty for me. As for Escalation Protocol, this week it will be the Sniper Rifle. That's because last week was the SMG, and next week will be all 3. Moving on to the Menagerie, this week the boss will be Aranuk, beloved by Callus, the big ogre at the very end. He's the one that used to start off the Truth quest, although I think you can start that from Petra nowadays. You can do both, I think. As far as the roles go, or not the roles, as far as the modifiers go, we have Arc Singe, like I said, is everywhere, daily being Blackout and Grenadier. That's for the normal version. For the heroic version, we have things like Extinguish, Grenadier, Famine, and Solar Singe. So if you wanted to complete either one of those, that's what's up. Moving on to the moon, moving on to the moon, to the moon, to the moon, to the moon. Moving on to the Moon Nightmares, this week we have Crota, we have Dominus Gaul, and we have Fogoth. My experience, Fogoth is going to be the easiest one because there's multiple locations that you can stand where the boss cannot even see you. Moving on to the Garden of Salvation Raid Challenge, a link to the chain. In this one, I believe it's going to be the second encounter in the raid, the one where you go around the outside and link all of those 4 totems around the outside. During this encounter, all players must refresh their Enlighten buff at approximately the same time. However, the team may split up at different tethers. Moving on to Eververse's inventory, showing off everything that she does have available for some bright dust. Obviously, she has some things like shaders, transmit effect with a snowman, which I highly recommend, a speed demon, public defender, ghost shell, looks like a gingerbread house, and then a card shuffle. It's going to be an emote where, you guessed it, you shuffle some cards and you throw them above you. I want to see this one play because you can shuffle with one hand. That was always very impressive. And then you can shuffle it to the other hand, which is fun. I assume this is an infinite one where you just keep going back and forth between both hands, which is actually pretty cool. Moving on to the other Bright Dust section in Eververse. Again, we have the same card shuffle. I really don't like the fact that they repeat stuff in both sections. It feels like a waste. They also have the Cardinal Directive Sparrow. It's not an ornament. This is actually its own Sparrow. We have the Boombox emote. We have the ship for the Sleepless Night. The Crystalline Shell, which is a treasure hunter guiding light. I recommend this because it looks like the Star Trek crystalline thing that kills everything. Obviously, you have an ornament for the hardline, have not a ghost effect, have some other things like transmit effect, shaders, and all that whatnot across the bottom here. And of course, because this is the last week of the Dawning event, if you wanted anything Dawning related, you gotta make sure you pick them up before next week starts, because that's gonna be the end of the Dawning event. So if there's stuff that you still need, you have to pick it up for silver. For something that didn't show up during the event for Bright Dust, you have to pick that up for silver as well. So this is the last week, the last opportunity to get anything that you really wanted. Oi, what you got? Hey, look, it's a Prime Engram! Oh, I remember when I did those Prime Engram loot box openings. Let's just do one for fun. We're not doing a giveaway, but we're gonna do one for fun here. Let's say it's a headpiece. Let's say it's a headpiece. Oh my god, it's a headpiece! I swear to god, that was not planned. This was not edited. That was a legitimate call for call. I called a headpiece, and I got a headpiece. I don't think anyone's gonna believe me that I called a headpiece for headpiece, especially considering the last time I literally got to the last possible item being, calling like 6 or 7 items all at the same time. It was pretty ridiculous. Moving on to Hawthorne's inventory today, we're going to be showing off her different weekly raid challenges, starting off with the Last Wish raid. We have the Strength of Memory. It's going to be part of the last encounter during the Rivet encounter. In this particular encounter, you're not allowed to shoot the same eye twice. So if you've shot a certain eye, you have to give that job to somebody else. For the Scourge of the Past raid, we have All for One, One for All. This is going to be in the second, or I guess the third encounter of the raid, in the first part of the boss area, in the part where you actually go underground. Every single person has to get and dunk each one of the different colors underground at least once. And lastly, we have the Crown of Sorrows raid challenge called Total Victory, which takes place in the first encounter in the boss area with the Deceptions and not the actual boss man. In this challenge, you have to disable the Deception's shield 5 times every time during the DPS phase. And that's going to be pretty much it for the video for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you learned something, you enjoyed something, let me know in the comments down below. If you have any questions, of course, let me know in the comments down. Let me know in the comments down below as well. And of course, that's pretty much it. My name's Dychronic, and I'll see you guys on the next one.